The walls you built around yourself is destroying the communication that should exist in your relationship. One of the keys to having a healthy conversation is that you must learn to begin to weigh your words when they are thoughts before you express them as words. Be slow to speak, swift to hear, and slow to react. When it comes to the world of relationship, it begins first with what we call individuals. A man and a woman come together, and these individuals give birth to something we call relationship. They begin to have a relationship. As a result of their relationship, what you then have is that a marriage is born. So we started with individuals, Sam and Mary, coming together, and they began a relationship that led to a marriage, and that marriage has created a family. And that family, which is the Oyes family, is now giving back to society and the world at large. So you can see how that if individuals will give attention to themselves, if you will give attention to yourself and give attention to yourselves in a relationship, your relationship will become healthy. And as a result of the fact that your relationship is healthy, your marriage will become very functional. I want to talk about the 5 types of relationships and marriages that are born out of the state of our minds. In essence, before you blame a witch, before you blame your mother-in-law, before you blame your brother-in-law, and before you start blaming the girl sleeping with your husband or the man looking out for your wife, before you blame any of them, why don't you give attention first to our state of mind and ask ourselves, is it possible that we're trying to deal with reaction when we are not dealing with the causal reason for that reaction? Because if you try to cut the tree from the trunk and leave the root, it will grow again. The first I want to mention is what we call competitive and controlling relationships or marriages. Number 2 is what we call passive and active relationships or marriages. Number 3 is what we call aggressive and accommodating marriages or relationships. Number 4 is what we call disconnected or parallel relationships or marriages. The last one is what we call acceptance and balanced relationships or marriage. The very first I want to introduce you to is what we call a competitive and controlling relationship. A competitive and controlling marriage. Whether you're single or you're married, you can find yourself in a competitive and controlling relationship or marriage if you're married. What are the characteristics of a competitive and controlling relationship? What are some of the basic indicators, some of the clear symptoms, hey, that I'm in a competitive relationship or controlling relationship? Number 1, you find a situation whereby the 2 parties involved are difficult, inflexible, they are strong personalities, and so they are highly competitive and controlling. What we are saying here is that we have 2 individuals in a relationship, and these 2 individuals, they either compete with each other. Every little thing is a competition. I want to be the one that everybody hears. I want to be the one that everybody sees. I want to be the one that everybody praise or praises. I want to be the one that answers questions. I want to be the one that holds the money. I want to be the one. There's this thing about competition. In a marriage where there's competition, there's always this subliminal, quiet, cold approach to making sure I outdo my partner. Now, in that same marriage, you always have something we call control. There's another partner in that kind of marriage, usually, that likes to control. I want to be in control. I want to be in charge. My words are final. Very difficult partner. Difficult to convince. Difficult to persuade. Inflexible. Not easy to change your mind. And you're watching me, you're such a partner, whether you're a man or a woman. You are rigid. You have a strong personality. There is something about you that causes you to always want to hold on to the power in the relationship. It's a conscious or subconscious desire to be the one that holds the power in the relationship. What kind of emotional climate does that kind of situation create in a marriage? Very clear. In that kind of marriage where there is competition, in that kind of relationship where there is competition, control, secret desire to be in charge, you are inflexible, you are not teachable, you are not correctable, you are difficult, you are just so tough. In that kind of relationship, the emotional climate is that of tension. It's not a good place at all. That kind of relationship will lead to tension. Marriage will become tensed up, and over time it will create a family that is a tensed up kind of family. It is important to understand that the long-term effect of allowing competition and desire for control, the long-term effect of it is that I don't care to know whether you have angels watching over your marriage. I don't care to know how many times you anoint yourself with oil. If you allow competition and control to continue your marriage, over time, what will be the ultimate effect is that it will end up in a breakup or a divorce. Number 2 is what we call the passive and active relationship or marriage. Passive and active relationship or marriage. What that tells us is that in this kind of marriage, there are 2 kinds of individuals. In this marriage, there is a passive partner, and then there is an active partner. So the passive and the active relationship or marriage is a marriage where, unlike the competitive and the controlling, where there's a partner that is competitive and the other partner is controlling, in this marriage, a partner is active, the other partner is passive. The active partner is the burden bearer. The active partner is the helper. The active partner is the responsible one. The active partner is the one that pays the bills, that goes to work. The active partner is the one that responds to the needs of the relationship. The active partner is the one that ultimately begins to feel overwhelmed. Why? Because the passive partner is the one that likes to be on the receiving side. The passive partner is the one that wakes up at 9 o'clock in the morning. And whilst the active partner has been up around 4 a.m. if you're in Africa, has already prayed until 5, and quickly between 5 and 6 o'clock, the active partner has put everything together for the family, and by 6 the active partner joins the prophetic prayer hour. All of this time, the passive partner is snoring, sleeping. The passive partner wakes up late. The passive partner then goes to take breakfast, not knowing how the money was generated for the breakfast to be available. The passive partner can't remember when last money was made available for resources to be made available in the house. The passive partner is the receiver. So it's important to know that such a relationship, you may be enjoying it now. The problem is that it creates an emotional climate, and the kind of climate it creates is a stressful one, an atmosphere where the active partner over time begins to feel bitter, resentful, and cheated. What will be the ultimate effect of that? The ultimate effect usually is that it will lead to the exit of the partner that has been active. So don't think you are smart by getting your active partner to play a significant role. After a while, the active partner who is always giving will get to a point where I'm going to ask myself the question of, please, there is something called reciprocity. Reciprocity. Don't think that active partners are stupid. They are not stupid. They are not foolish. For a moment, they will be given. After a while, an active partner is going to sit down and deal with the question of reciprocity. And what is it? In the law of reciprocity, it is about A always giving to B. One day, A is going to sit down and say, wait a minute, for all I am giving, what am I getting in return? How reciprocal is this relationship? Is this a mutually beneficial relationship, a symbiotic one, or it's a parasitic relationship where I am the one giving encouragement, giving apology, giving, always giving, and I'm asking a question, what am I getting in return? So when the partner begins to notice that I'm not really getting anything in return in this relationship, it brings about bitterness, and from bitterness that will eventually lead to regrets. It will lead to exits, breakups, and it will ultimately lead to divorce. Such kind of relationship leaves the partner in a very neutral state. I'm tired, I'm not doing anything again. And then the partner begins to consider the passive partner as an ingrate, because with all I'm doing, you are giving nothing to this relationship. Madam, your husband goes to work, he labors all day, or you go to work together but you come back early. Why don't you take it upon yourself, knowing he's not a lazy man, to create some scenarios in the house that will reward him for his investment of time and energy. 5:50 a.m. tomorrow morning. Call your brother, your sister, call everyone, anyone you care about. Let them join us in God's presence where testimonies are abounding on a daily basis. We're seeing the power of God to heal, to deliver, to set free, barren wombs being opened, the dead being brought back to life, careers bouncing back. We're seeing destinies being repositioned by God. This God is beyond description. He is a faithful God. We brag with our God, and we want those close to you to experience the same. So let everyone join us 5:50 a.m. West African time tomorrow, as we converge on this altar to seek the face of the God who has been answering us on a daily basis.